How you guys doing out there today? Welcome back to the House of Business Podcast 2.0. This is your host, Caleb Thompson, and this is the place where we give you the knowledge and the tools to execute your dreams and your visions. So today we're going to have a good episode for you guys, and this is something that's personal and that's dear to me. This is also a structure that I use. So I've dealt with a lot of wealth advisors, from Keith to I'm not going to really drop any names, but I've dealt with a lot of wealth advisors. Whether we've connected through LinkedIn, or whether we've connected through some mutual friend, and then also other people as well. So this is something that I want to share with you guys. This is a strategic plan to build generational wealth. This is structured. Others have used this as well. I've learned some of this information from other individuals as me doing my research, and it's something I want to apply to my family, and certain parts of this I have already applied. So I want to share with you guys and let you know that it is a guaranteed strategy if you guys would like to build your family to this capacity. Now, some people will not want to build their family structure to this caliber. They may want to just have some investments, some ETFs, maybe pass on the skill of day trading, maybe help their kids get a good job, maybe get into a good school. So not everyone thinks on the same level. Some people, they think that getting a house, paying off the mortgage, and passing that house down is just a good start for the kids. Some people leave debt, but we want to talk about building generational wealth, and I want to give you a strategic way to do that will be very helpful for you guys. Like I said, everyone that comes to these messages, I just want to let you know, whatever's for you, take it. Whatever's not for you, pass it along, or move to the next. So I just want to thank you guys for tuning into this message. Thank you guys for always coming and listen to these messages. I always like to start every video with gratitude. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for being here, and just thank you guys for everything that you've done for this show and for this channel. And we'd like to thank all of our business partners. We'd like to thank all of our clients with all our companies. I give a shout out to you guys. You guys are the real MVP. So today is going to be called Building Generational Wealth. Building Generational Wealth. And I'm always going to give you 3 talk points. I like to give you 3 talk points. It kind of helps me to keep the podcast to a certain limit, a certain time limit when doing these things. So the strategy that I want to share with you guys is, well, the first talk point is using a family bank strategy with insurance and trust. So using a family bank strategy. So the family bank strategy is creating a bank for your family through using insurance policies and trust. You can have your own family bank. Someone wants to take out money, you would charge them not like a regular bank, but they will have to pay that back to the trust as being used as the family bank. But the family bank owned, basically the trust, is powered by insurance policies on the family. That way, if everyone gets a $2 million insurance policy, and that person dies, it automatically goes to the family trust, and that way you create a family bank for your family by using that. So when someone dies, the family's not poor. We're not leaving debt behind. We're using those insurance policies as a way to create our own family bank. Now, can this cause some conflict? Yes, it can cause some conflict. We don't want people killing people, killing people for money. But one way that people will not be able to do that is because everyone will have a strategic role, and the money doesn't go to the person that wants the other person's unalive. So, that's the fail-safe. That's what helps put a barrier there. So, it's just not like, we want the money, so let this happen so we can have the money. The money doesn't go directly to the person that's probably envious of another family member. The money doesn't go directly to a certain group or a certain member of the family. The money goes back to the family trust, and then that family trust, being used as a family bank, distributes the money throughout the families and the bloodlines strategically and likewise. So the family will use the money. They will start to have build companies, and a percentage of their companies goes back into the family bank. A percentage of their whatever they do into the family bank, which is the trust, and it generates capital over time, also through insurance policies, to make sure that the next generation has a good start. So that's one way. We don't want to leave debt behind. Some people I want you guys to set up a trust fund for your kids. You did just set it up as an LLC. It is an LLC, and put an insurance policy on yourself, so that and that insurance policy, the beneficiary is the trust. It's not it's not the children. It's not your mom. It's not your dad. And I just want to help you guys with that. Be around people you can trust. But I want to say this is going to be used so you won't have to worry about anyone knowing like exactly how much. You can have a $2 million policy on yourself. You can have a $100,000 policy on yourself. But that in your will, that the beneficiary of that insurance money is going to go directly to the trust. That way, when you die, you won't have people trying to it won't go to probate. What you want to do with your will, what you want to do with your assets, it won't be probated. It will go directly to the trust, and then the trustee who is over that trust, whether it's a lawyer or whether whoever you put over that family trust at that moment, will be able to distribute those assets according to the way that you wanted them to be distributed. See, once you're dealing with a will and a trust is different. A trust is basically like this. A trust is basically saying that, okay, I want to give my daughter $600,000 one. But I'm not going to give it to her as soon as I die. She has $600,000. She can do whatever she wants at leisure to do whatever she wants to do. So with a trust, you can set up parameters around that money. My daughter has to meet this certain type of criteria before she can receive all of this money. But until she takes a financial literacy class, which she'll be taught in the home anyways, she has to take a financial literacy class. She has to take a business course. She has to do all these. Takes an emotional intelligence class. She has to take a class on leadership. She has to take classes that deal with the core of who she is, at the core of her being, to be able to have the capacity to be able to manage that type of assets, or that a large amount of capital. I don't want to just put money, because you can have a kid with a problem. You give them that type of money, they can get hooked on drugs or partying and end up killing themselves or killing someone else, or just blow all their money. So you want to put the certain types of stipulations in place to make sure that they have an allowance. Okay, each year she have a $50,000 allowance. From 18 years old to 23 years old, she have a $50,000 allowance. By that time, or when she leaves college or school, or I take some kind of educational course for financial literacy, then once she can present these things to the trustees, she will be able to have a limited access to the $600,000, which would be $500,000. But there will be rules and regulations in place for her to unlock certain aspects of her own trust fund. She has to do certain things. She doesn't just get the money. So, but that's one way to look at what we're talking about here. But what we're talking about is creating a family bank through everyone that's on your bloodline, creating a insurance policy on them. And everyone has to know. We're talking about doing this as a family. Everyone has to know. Take out $1 million insurance policy on a family of 5. That's $5 million. But once the insurance policy goes to the trust, and the trust acts as the family bank. So if someone just ends up dying, that's $1 million. To pass on to the next generation, someone else, and then you create the same thing with every member in your family, but the insurance policy goes to the family trust, and the family trust acts as a family bank. So if someone becomes behind on their bills, there's certain rules and there's certain there's certain rules put on the trust that says, this person is able to access the family trust to pay bills, they're behind on bills, to pay car payments and things of that sort. But as they're using the money for these things, they will also have to, everyone will have to pour into the family bank outside of insurance money. So you have to, if you're working a job or if you own a business, a percentage of those profits go back into the family trust. So, or the family trust owns a percentage of that company. So that way you can always pass on generational wealth to the next family. Your kids won't have to start from scratch. If the mother, the father, and everyone of that first generation gets $1 million insurance policy, and everything that they do together goes into the family trust, and then when those kids grow up, they will already be part of the family trust, and they will start from wealth, and they won't start from poverty. And then you can come up with your own strategic plan of how those funds are distributed over time and the rules and regulations of that next generation and how they will pour back into the family trust as well. So that's number one. But using a family bank strategy with insurance and trust, I want to show my family how to set up a private family bank using whole life insurance policies and a trust fund. I use cash value life insurance as both a safety net and a wealth building tool for my family. I also rely on a trust, as everyone should. Trust. I also have a trust that owns a holding company, and a holding company that owns the companies that I own. So there are certain levels of protection, but ultimately the trust owns everything. Nothing is in my personal name. So I rely on the trust to protect our assets and make sure that they're structured for long-term growth. I access cash value strategically. Just for investments, well, not only for investments, but allowing our wealth to grow without losing control. So a lot of times when you do take finances out of that trust fund, and this is, we're talking about starting off first generational, first person in your family to become a millionaire, first person. There's always someone in the family. It's not always the mother or the father. There may be the mother and father. My mother and father wasn't rich, but there's always going to be someone that is raised in the family, even though they may be younger, even though they may be the black sheep. That person was the person to come up with a strategy to structure the family so that the bloodline will be broken out of the curse of poverty. And a lot of times these poverty curses are just systems put in place to keep certain races and certain people at a certain economic level, robbing them of knowledge, and other things as well. We don't want to go too deep in that, and people can say this as well. They can say, well, I'm black, and I have a white friend, and we're both rich. It has nothing to do with the systems put in place. But I want you to understand something goes deeper than that, dealing with a spiritual aspect of that as well, to make sure that the economy runs in a certain way, to try to keep consumers, and try to keep producers within their bloodlines. So, and bloodlines that can be controlled. So if it's hard for you to be controlled, they don't want you rich. You have too much access. You can free other people from the oppressive control of certain systems. So they want to keep you poor, especially they rather you for you to be intellectual but poor. That way because money opens the door to influence. When you have money, right, and I'm not saying I don't have any money, but I'm saying that if I can tell somebody I can pay you right now if you do this for me, they'll be able to do it, because money moves things, money answers all matters. So they will be able, but money unlocks a door of influence and visibility that you with just being intellectual and you just having profound speech would not be able to unlock. So money plays a big part in that. But just think of someone that has a heart to do the right thing by people and to help people to heal their bloodlines from generational poverty curses. That person is attacked because the system is built to oppress people so that they can control them. So if someone has their intellectual, they have business knowledge, and they have a good heart, they're not using what they have in an egotistical way to trample on people to get what they want in life. They have to try to suppress that person so that that person doesn't free other people under the control of the systems people call the matrix. So, but make sure that this is just something I just have to throw that in there. But I access the cash, like I said, strategically for investments. A lot of time when you take the money out of the trust, you need to take it to invest it. Just say, and I'm going to give you a couple key roles, and I'm going to tell you how we're going to invest this capital, because it comes from the trust. And one way you do that is by giving people in your family strategic positions as in a business. And so, yeah, just like a business. So run your family like a business. So I'm going to give, and that way it helps everyone in your family not to be envious, not to be jealous, but they know that they have their own particular role in the family. And I have 15 roles here, but I'm just going to give you the first five, the five roles that can be a foundation to helping your family to grow generational wealth. So if everybody in the family, everybody's like, well, I don't want you to put an insurance policy on me because I don't want anyone to try to unalive me just to get the money, even though the money goes to the trust. So what we do is we make sure that there's no envy and no jealousy, and everyone in the household has a position that is theirs and is tied to their bloodline. So that whoever's in this position, let's say the chief family officer or the chief investment officer, or the trust and estate director, or the cybersecurity and intelligence, someone that does those certain things. Everyone has a role to play in the family, and their bloodlines will pick up on that strategic role throughout the rest of the generations. And it is there, and and the only exception of that is when we also have a human capital and talent director, someone that would be in the family to be able to scout different talent in the family. Just say everyone that's in your bloodline is part of general counsel for the family. It's part of your duty to be general counsel because you are part of that bloodline, and that will also give your family a long-lasting position amongst the table of the bloodline and have some say-so. So those are certain positions that will be placed in the family. Everyone will have life insurance policies placed on them, and everything will go to the trust. And everything will go to the trust and being used that way. But everyone would have a position, a prominent position that will last throughout their bloodline. So if you have a chief investment officer, whatever you would teach that to your children, and you would raise your kids strategically to know about investments, good investments, and then your children will take that position at the table with the family. And also, but that being the chief investment officer and having that knowledge has nothing to do with a person's talent and with a person's gifts of why they're here on the earth. You will be knowledgeable about the investments and things of that sort, and that would be your family's bloodline position. But that has nothing to do when the human capital and the talent director is looking for ways to partner with the investment officer to see what talents kids of the bloodline have. You might have a kid that loves to play the guitar. Okay, since that's the passion and that feels like something that you want to do with your life, how can we strategically monetize this passion that you have where the family can benefit from it? We'll pay for it. We'll pay for the classes. We'll pay for this and that. We will invest in you to be an investment to this family. So that's what the human capital and talent director does. Gets with the chief investment officer and says, "Man, we have Johnny, who's our nephew. These are the gifts and talents that I've seen in here." So the human capital and talent director is supposed to strategically observe kids and other people of the family to figure out what their passions are and figure out what they want to do, and then link with the chief investment officer, and they will bring that to the general counsel, and we will see if that would be a good investment for the family. So, and then we will do everything that we need to do to invest in that child and the development of that child's gifts, and ultimately the family will benefit from it. So that's one way, but you have to have those positions set in place so it gives everyone a role in creating generational wealth. Maybe you don't have 15 seats at your table with the family, because we have a lot of things as well. But if you have a big family, I come from a family of 14 individuals, so it's my mom and dad had 14 kids, so I have 15 positions here that I want to birth into my family. The reason why it's 15 positions is because that whoever serves our family will have a position at the table. Let's say we have money, we have wealth, we might have someone that we hire. We want to bring someone else in, so we want to have someone that we hire that's maybe some people that serve our family in some kind of aspect. We do want to. I don't care if it's. We do have our own counsel as well, but someone that we would like to bring in to help. So I don't even care if we have a if we have a group that's that's a butler, you know what I mean, or somebody that's a butler, you know what I mean, that doesn't really have a family. We will integrate that bloodline into our family as a 15th. As a 15th, giving someone the opportunity to create generational wealth for their bloodline as well as sitting at our table. Or to just give them that opportunity. Some people will not even want, and there also would be certain strategic things that you will have to do as well. Nothing crazy, but there will be oaths that will be taken. We will run this under the leadership of God as a spiritual preference for this structure. But however you want to do it, you can do whatever you want to do with yours. But I just want to give you the structure. I just want to help you to understand how these things are possible and how you can strategically make sure that you can pass on generational wealth to your family. And that's just all I want to do. So number one was using a family bank strategy and life insurance. If you're just and trust to make sure that you can build a family bank through life insurance and using the trust fund as that family bank to strategically invest in your family and other things to keep the money flowing, and insurance policies as well. So when anybody passes along, their children won't be broke. You know what I'm saying? Won't go into broke. So number two, we just talked a little bit about this. If you're just now tuning in, this is the House of Business Podcast 2.0. This is your host, Caleb Thompson. This is a place where we give you the knowledge and the tools to execute your dreams and your visions. Today's episode is called Building Generational Wealth, but this is our second talk point here. So we kind of just went over this a little bit, but running the family like a business. So I run my family personally, or will continue or to integrate this ideology into my family as time starts to go on. And even if I have to build my own, maybe if the family I come from doesn't want to adopt this ideology or this structure for their own lives, because a lot of people feel like, man, you're the little brother, all right, you're gonna, and they have all these complaints about who's going to lead the family, when no one has really taken the time to try to structure the family and bring them out of that toxic tradition or that comparison where everyone would need to compare if we all had a position. No, everyone would need to compare if we all had a strategy to make sure that we can pass on generational wealth. But some people's egos is too big, they're too powerful to allow someone who they feel like they've known their whole life. So a lot of times with this strategy, you may have to start with your own seed and your own bloodline. So instead of the family you come from, because a lot of them, you're still little Johnny. You're still that person they think they know. So sometimes you may have to build your own family, start with your own bloodline, and ingrain this structure into your children and help them to build the family over time by leaving a legacy through what you've shared and poured into your own children. So number two, run the family like a business. Like I said, we just kind of went over this, but I run the family like a business to create accountability, structure, and clarity around wealth. I assign clear roles and responsibilities for each family member to manage different areas like finance, operations, and strategy, as we just went over. So with the family, like I said, I have 15 roles here, but I believe the number one role is the 5 roles that need to be executed to start the foundation will be the visionary family leader, the one who has the vision for the family, and he can also work as in another role as well. So you will have the chief family officer working with the visionary leader, the chief investment officer, the general counsel for the family, and I also like the human capital and talent director. So the human capital to talent director, the chief financial officer, the visionary leader, the chief family officer, and the chief investment officer and the general counsel. Well, that's 6 positions, but I believe that those 6 positions will create a foundation that will help the family build everything else off of the family, especially with the human capital director, really looking to see who in the family has a talent and how can we invest in that talent, not only for our good, but also to make sure that each child lives out their dream and that we can also monetize that to also build wealth for the family. So These are some other positions that I believe that as your family starts to grow, to say you're past the $100 million mark, your family will be looked at. Once your family becomes, once your family name has awareness, because your family will become a brand. Once your family has that high caliber of awareness throughout the world, especially when you're doing international philanthropy or things like that, you will need to add extra roles, whether it would be a nephew or whether it would be someone, you would need to add extra roles. And as your family starts to grow and it starts to become, this prestigious family, because doing the things that we do here, you can build wealth in silence, but sometimes you can get so wealthy that you can't hide it. Some things happen in life that, I can never tell you that I got a new car, but sooner or later you're going to find out. I can't hide it. I have to drive the thing. So that's the same thing with building wealth. You build wealth in silence, but even silent wealth will become loud through some kind of way, whether it's the way that you carry yourself, whether it's the way that you speak, or whether it's somebody will be able to notice what economic level that you're at just by watching you. Body language, certain things tell on you. But even with this family structure that we have right here, like I said, run the business like a family. So we do want you guys to understand that you are going to have to add extra positions to make sure that the family is held accountable, but also keep a certain standard. So you will need security, so we will add a chief security officer for security for the family going to and from places. Like we said, we added a philanthropy and legacy director, someone that would keep the legacy alive, and also philanthropy as well, do a lot of philanthropy internationally. We don't want to stay stuck in the neighborhood. It starts where you are at the neighborhood that you're at, and then it goes out to the state and then to your country. But we also want to do things internationally as well. But we have a risk management and insurance strategist as well. So that doesn't mean that it's a risk management person that says that this person is going to be a problem to the family and the family name. Let's manage this risk. And an insurance strategist, that doesn't mean probably what you think it means, but it's a very necessary position to make sure you have a risk management and insurance strategist. Also external affairs and someone that deals with government relations. Once you may, and this comes good in hand. This comes in handy once you start to accumulate a lot of wealth. You can start to work on a larger scale with more high-profile people. You need someone that has government relationships and that deals with external affairs of the family. So also education. This is one of the most important departments that's dealing with human capital, and the chief investment officer and the chief family officer is the education, the next generation development. This person is in charge of taking the structure and this ideology of the family and making sure that each child in the family, when they are born into this family, understands their roles, understand the way that we think as a family, understand that they are free. They are free to have the talent they want to have. They are free to live the destiny that they want to live, or why they feel like they were put here on this earth. We will invest in who you are as a person and in your personal development, but you will also have another position that you have to take part of, and that is at the table with one of these positions that you will pass along to your kids as well. So that is how you create generational wealth. We also have a reputation and communications director. Then we have a lifestyle and asset director as well. The lifestyle and asset director just makes sure that no one's living beyond their means. There's no way that you didn't want to go into the family business. You wanted to become a doctor. We pay for medical school. We let you help you to become a doctor. But then you're living over your means. You're living off us and off of what you're doing, and that you can't do that. So, and I'm not saying that. I believe that if you make it through school, I believe that if you become a doctor, if you put the work in and anything that you put towards, you do deserve the result of that. But the lifestyle and asset director makes sure that the money from the trust that is given every month or every week is strategically dispersed in an equal amount for every family every month, every week, and everyone gets the same amount as an allowance apart from what they do. So either you can save that money, you can reinvest it for your own personal life or whatever, but with the family trust, everyone gets a family allowance. Everyone gets an allowance for their family every month as in taking dividends out of the trust, and you live off the trust. You live off the trust, but when that person dies, his insurance policy comes back to the trust to replenish the trust for his children. So that is how you create a family bank. So, but I assign clear roles and responsibilities, like I said, for each family member to manage different areas like finance, operations, strategy. As we just went over, I make sure everyone knows their role so they contribute and learn how the family enterprise functions. And that's where we have the education and next generation development director on the family board for. But I noticed that formal roles reduce conflict and help instill a culture of responsibility and leadership. And we also make sure that they understand that everyone in these positions do play a role in leadership, so no one feels left out. But I also treat family meetings like board meetings. We have a family meeting, it's like a board meeting, ensuring that we make decisions thoughtfully and strategically. We're not sitting here just spending money. It's no one at this table is going to be money hungry. Everyone is going to be wealthy. Everyone is going to have more than enough. But we have to make sure that while we're living off the trust and we're putting money in the trust from our businesses and we're living off the trust, we have to make sure that the next generation is always left with, we want to set a percentage. Okay, when we were all born and we came into this trust with let's say $70 million. We came into the trust with $70 million. Our goal is to always, each generation is to make sure that the trust gains 30%. So we may have come into the trust with $70 million, $60 million, but we want to make sure when our kids get it, it'll be $100 million. We want to make sure when their kids get it, it'll be $150 million. We want to make sure when their kids get it, it'll be $300 million. So we want to come up with a strategy to make sure that the trust increases in percentage every year when left to the next generation. We don't want to make sure it's the same. We want to make sure that it increases. But you got to treat those family meetings like board meetings, ensure that you make decisions thoughtfully. Number 3, intentional planning for generational wealth. Intentional planning for generational wealth. I want listeners to understand that generational wealth is built on strategy. It's not by accident. You're never going to meet anybody that is wealthy or rich or that's a trust fund baby if their parent or someone didn't strategically set them up. You cannot be mad at someone for being a trust fund person. You need to congratulate their father or their mother taking the time to learn the knowledge that they needed to make sure that their child was taken care of. I'm gonna tell you, someone says that, what's the best way to be rich? What's the best way to be rich? I'm gonna give you some information. The best way to be rich is to be born into it. That's the best way to be rich. Not struggling, not getting it out the mud. People find so much glory and pride in struggling, and I'm here to tell you, there's no pride in struggling. Now I can see if you are a first generational wealth builder, if you are a first generation, everyone there's always going to be one person that has to get it out the mud, go through the struggle, so that their family would never have to go through that ever again in life. But there's no trophies for struggling gracefully. There's no trophies for that. You can be the best struggling mother out there that you ever can be, and people can commend you on that, but there is no economic gain or trophy to make your life easier, even though you're the best struggling mother out there. It's just not. So what we want to do is we want to get you out of that place of struggle, and we want you to your struggle should be your struggle. We want to get your struggle to a place of, I don't know what I want to eat today. We want to get you to that place. We want to get you to your struggle to be that, I don't know what car I want to drive. We want your struggle to be is, I don't know where to shop at today. We want your struggle to be that, I don't know if I should, I don't know if I should give them I don't know if I should give this charity 5,000 or 5 million. What do you think? We want to have those type of meetings. We want to shift our minds and shift our struggles. But one way to do that is someone has to build the foundation. Someone has to go through the mud, go through the pain. It has to be at least one person that has to dig their family out of this rut by going through going through not only the motions, but getting the knowledge, the necessary knowledge to make sure that they can start to build a foundation for their family. So a lot of this thing has to do with knowledge. You're just not being knowledgeable about where to start, what to do, and on how to make sure that you create generational wealth. And that's why I'm giving you this episode now. So this will help you. But like I said, number 3 is intentional planning for generational wealth. Like I said, man, I want you all to know that generational wealth is built on strategy. It's not by accident. It's not like somebody just woke up and said, today will be a good day to be rich. And then, wealth just fell out the sky. No, someone strategically set up a plan or something, even though they may have started planting seeds of that plan. So a lot of times you have to be patient. Everything that you come up with, I have a couple companies. The companies are not seeing they're not seeing the revenue that I believe that they should see, but I'm still marketing those companies. I'm still taking calls. I'm still giving it brand exposure. All it takes is for one person. You can get 1 million no's, and all it takes is for one person, one connection that can change your life. But if you stop, that one person is not going to meet you. If you stop, if you stop posting, because life has so much brain rot in it, that person who's strategically looking for someone to invest in, once you stop, your marketing post or your company gets buried in the daily posts or the daily ads or something. So you will get buried if you do not be consistent. So one thing I want you to know is that, you have to build wealth strategically. So what I do is I teach my younger family members, or I have our education and next generation development officer to teach the younger family members about investing, money management, and financial literacy at an early age. I created financial plans so we have a roadmap for preserving and growing wealth across the generations. And like I said, I also have a plan put in place where what we started with, our family won't start with. If we start with $70 million, our kids should start with $100 million. If they start with $100 million, we have a strategic plan set up so their kids, our grandkids, can start off with $150 million. So, and then it builds over time. And we also have a fail-safe. So when there's an economic crash, we also have reserves put away, and we also we will have, like I said, we have an investment officer, because money is always being made. When the market crashes, a lot of people pull their money out of the market. But when the market crashes in one area, that also means that the market is bullish. It's going up in another area. So if the market crashed in, just say there's not that many kids being born, the market crashes in baby clothes. So let's say that we're not going to go, but we're just using this as a simple company, small stock company, and the market is crashing on these baby products. The market's crashing on these baby products. Don't you know that something else is going up? When life fluctuates, but energy itself, it's always moving. Once one thing is going down, something else is going up. When something else is going up, something else is going down. So that's how life fluctuates, and that's how energy fluctuates. And money is energy. That's why you have to be at a certain level. How do you raise your vibration to the point that you need to create generational wealth? Well, you know how you raise your vibration to the point to create generational wealth? Knowledge is energy. Knowledge is energy, and knowledge raises your vibration, or raises your frequency to what you want to achieve. I can't say that I want to be I'm trying to manifest being a pilot. I can't manifest being a pilot unless I get the information needed that's going to give me the confidence and the knowledge I need to pass the test to open up the door for me to achieve what I'm trying to manifest. So manifestation is action, knowledge, and action. So if I want to manifest this, I can sit and think all day. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be rich. I can sit and think that all day. But if you want to manifest that reality, one way to raise your frequency to match what you're trying to manifest is through the knowledge. Knowledge is a frequency and vibration builder. It helps you to get to the point that you need to be able to receive. It's just like this. Knowledge in action is the plane that will get you to the destination of manifestation. So the knowledge is a plane ticket. This knowledge is a plane ticket. Okay, I got my knowledge, but I'm also, I'm using action to use that plane ticket to get to the destination I need to go to. So, and I'm going to tell you this, and how do you pay for that plane ticket? You pay for that plane ticket by time. Time, using your time wisely to a card. Time is currency. Time is currency. So once you use your time in order to gain the knowledge that you need, and then you taking those actions that will get you to the destination that you need. So if you got that, that was a little analogy I came up with, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. But teach your kids young at a young age about financial things. I create a family plan so we all have a roadmap, like I said, and I combine structured governance. That is why we have general counsel at the family. We have general counsel, and then we have a chief family officer. We also have an investment officer and a visionary family leader. But that's not all we have. Like I just said, I just told you that I combine structured governance, a family bank, and education to make sure our legacy lasts for decades or centuries. But guess what? We also have a steward of family governance. Steward of family governance, that position is right by the visionary family leader. So that's how you govern the family. So everyone plays a role in this, and then some of these roles could be integrated. So you can take two of these roles and make them a hybrid and just give them one title if you don't have a large family. But if you do have a large family, and you have a large family that probably will be jealous or upset, and you need to add extra roles to give someone a leadership position for their bloodline so they can be a part of the family, then that's you can add extra roles. But some of these roles can be reduced and the responsibilities can fall under one title. But that's just up to you in the way that you want to strategically plan your family's wealth. I'm just giving you some suggestions here. But I believe that wealth isn't about money. It's about opportunity, knowledge, and responsibility that we pass on. That's what wealth is about. You can have money all day. I can give someone $1 million right now, and they can go buy a house. They can buy a house, buy a nice car, buy a house, buy a nice car. They can live off of it for a little bit. And then I'm going to tell you what, they can go and be good to all their friends and everyone who really doesn't care about them, because once they go broke again, none of those people are going to help them. But it isn't about money. Money, you need to have the knowledge. If someone just gave me $1 million, I started off freshman, even without giving me $1 million, you can give me $10,000. You can give me $10,000. What I would do is I would learn something, probably a day trading. I'll learn a scalping strategy on how to day trade, or I would learn about the stock market. I would learn about I would learn about something where I can take a percentage of that money and I can start to create some cash flow. I can start to create some cash flow without me having to work for it, and I would probably still keep my regular job just for $10,000, and then I may, probably buy a property for $5,000. I may still live in my apartment, keep my regular job, put $5,000 in stocks, and then go and get me a tax deed, a couple tax deeds, or a couple tax liens, and I would use that other $5,000 to purchase those tax liens and those tax deeds. And then once I acquire the deeds for those properties, I would rent those properties out. Then I have some working cash flow over here, but I would still continue to work my regular job and continue to, just live my regular life until I can come out of that and start to live a little bit better. But I would take those $10,000, or I would day trade, go into stocks. I would do something. I would get a skill or acquire a skill that can help me create cash flow. But that is what we have today. Like I said, this is the House of Business Podcast 2.0. It's your host, Caleb Thompson. We're coming live from New York City, as we always do. And this is the place where we give you the knowledge and the tools to execute your dreams and visions. You can tune back in next Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll see you here then. Peace.